VooDoo dolls were recently nerfed, so let's discuss the best ways to use VooDoo dolls after the 3.3.8 version of Art of War Legions. Before we begin, make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and like this video if you want to see more like it. VooDoo dolls were nerfed, and they needed to be. They are no longer lethal at lower levels, which was causing a problem in the fair play arena. Many players were caught cheating last season after they obtained massive amounts of lower level VooDoo dolls, and some were banned from the game. So the developers decided to change the troop skill. Let's go over it. First, to understand how to use VooDoo dolls, let's talk about how they work. The VooDoo doll has a skill called Destiny Bond that says, VooDoo doll releases a curse that has a chance to affect any enemies when the battle begins. If it is injured or killed, cursed enemies will be affected in the same way. I'll explain this. VooDoo dolls will curse a random enemy and deal a certain amount of damage to them. When the VooDoo doll receives damage, the cursed troop will also receive the same amount of damage. When the VooDoo doll dies, there is a chance that the cursed troop will also die. So this skill is self-explanatory, but there is an important rule to know how the skill works. The troop that is cursed by the VooDoo doll will only die if it has a lower level than the VooDoo doll. However, if the cursed troop has a higher level, there is only a chance that it will die when the VooDoo doll dies. If the cursed troop is 1 level higher, there's a 50% chance, and if it is 2 levels higher, there's a 25% chance that it will die. Here are a few tips to use this troop better. Magic apprentices are a really good counter to VooDoo dolls because although they can be cursed while flying, they cannot be damaged by the curse. They can, however, die when the VooDoo doll dies. So if you are using VooDoo dolls in your army, you may want to stay away from enemy armies with a lot of magic apprentices. They simply just don't take the damage. VooDoo dolls work really well in the front 3 rows of your army. The role of a VooDoo doll is to cause damage and sacrifice itself to kill enemy troops. You want them to curse enemies and die quickly like Goblikazis, so don't put them in the back of your army where they will waste time just running around. Don't use lower level VooDoo dolls. That will basically turn them into Goblikazis without area damage, and that's an utter waste. You want your VooDoo dolls to be the same or a higher level than the enemy's troops. So if the enemy has a lot of level 9 troops and you have level 8 VooDoo dolls, your VooDoo dolls will not be as effective. There will only be a 50% chance that your VooDoo doll will kill the enemy troop when it dies if the enemy troop is 1 level higher. So these are some things to keep in mind. In my opinion, the VooDoo doll is a decent troop. I don't really know where I would rank it, so stay tuned for a troop ranking video to see where other players and I rank them among all the other troops in the game. That's it for today. I hope you liked this video. Smash like and subscribe. I'll see you guys later.